Hello guys, it's Jared here, and I'm going to do a review of the film Split. Yes, directed by M. Night Shyamalan, and basically it's about, you have this guy here, Kevin Wendall-Crumb is the main person who is played by James McAvoy. Kevin Wendall-Crumb is like the main person in like the body, but he has like a split personality. He has many split personalities, and basically he kidnaps these three teenage girls, and the main one is Casey, played by Anya Taylor-Joy, and yeah, basically they try to escape, and you kind of don't know if he's just crazy or if there really are multiple personalities inside of him. And you also have this woman who's like, I don't know what name you'd call it, I guess maybe like a psychiatrist, I'm not quite sure, but she kind of looks after Kevin, and like she sort of specialises in people with his case, and she does believe there are multiple personalities inside of him. And yeah, so basically the reason why I'll review this is this is kind of a spoiler for this movie, but the twist of this movie is that it's set in the same universe as the movie Unbreakable, and I'm going to be reviewing the Unbreakable trilogy, or the Eastrail 117 trilogy, as it's known as. So yeah, so it's kind of a spoiler for Split, saying it's set in the same universe, but at the same time, I think the existence of this movie, Glass, already kind of ruins that twist. So because of the movie Glass coming out, I think most people kind of know that twist anyway, and yeah, having the twist be that it's set in the same universe as another film is a very unique twist. I think it's a very cool twist, and I think the film itself is great as well. I mean, James McAvoy is really great at playing, all these different personalities, and he can be kind of funny but also scary at the same time. One scene I remember finding quite funny is like a scene where like he says that he has a window, and obviously Casey wants to use the window to escape, but yeah, the character was the personality who he was at that time was Hedwig, who's like a really childish character, and yeah, basically Hedwig, he doesn't have a real window, he just has a picture of the window, and he's just like, now it's closed, now it's open, now it's closed, now it's open, and it's kind of funny, but also scary, because at that moment Casey realises there's really no way to escape, and yeah, and I think like there is something scary about like sort of horror movie villains who are kind of funny as well, Also, yeah, this is more in like the horror genre than Unbreakable was. I think Unbreakable is labelled as says it's a supernatural thriller. I'd say yeah, Split is more, I guess, a supernatural horror, and you also find out about you have like flashbacks to Kevin's childhood and his abusive mother, and also flashbacks to Casey's childhood with like her uncle and stuff, and yeah, very interesting stuff. So yeah, like the twist that connects this to Unbreakable is that Kevin's dad was on the same train that David Dunn, Bruce Willis's character, was on in Unbreakable, when he realised he had the powers, because he was the only survivor. So Kevin's dad died on that train, and the train's called like the Eastrail 117, and that's why this trilogy is sort of known as the Eastrail 117 trilogy. Yeah, and by the way, like I actually watched this movie before I watched Unbreakable, so that sort of, like, because Bruce Willis has like a cameo at the end, and he mentions Mr. Glass, but you don't see Samuel L. Jackson as Glass until the last film, the Glass. But since I watched this before Unbreakable, you know, the ending with Bruce Willis didn't like impact me, but I can imagine if I had seen Unbreakable first, you know, the ending with Bruce Willis and, you know, that twist, you know, would have been amazing. And also when it has that reveal, the music that's playing is the theme from Unbreakable, which is very cool, because, you know, you might watch it and might think, wait, I recognise that music. Is that the music from Unbreakable? And then you see Bruce Willis and you're like, oh yes, it is, you know. So, yeah. So yeah, on the back it says how many personalities he has. He has 23 personalities, and he's also developing a new personality called the Beast, and basically, yeah, that's why they want to escape before, you know, the Beast gets to them, you know. And you also see it, like, in this film, like, Casey only ever really pretends to be Kevin's friend. She pretends to be his friends, well, be friends with his personality, many of his personalities. She only becomes friends with them to try and escape. Whereas in Glass, I think she's grown to kind of like him and like is kind of friends, which you do kind of get, because just like with Mr. Glass, Samuel L. Jackson's character, you know, he is kind of still a sympathetic villain. I mean, I heard apparently there's been like criticism for this film because for not being politically correct, because it doesn't show, you know, mental health in the best light. But, you know, and I mean, you know, Kevin Wendall-Crumb, you know, and his personalities, you know, it's not like exactly the best, you know, representation of, you know, a split personality disorder. But, you know, I mean, he's a horror movie villain, you know. Come on. I mean, like, good horror is what is when it really explores like our fears of, you know, the unknown, and I think that's what this film does very well, you know. So yes, while Unbreakable is still my favourite in the trilogy, this is still a very good film and very worthy of being in the same universe. So yeah, definitely highly recommend this if you haven't seen it. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.